This is one of the most searched for terms on the internet right now, and that is I have no money left after I pay all my bills. How do I fix it? Or what do I do? And this reminds me of when I got my first job, and maybe you can relate to this as well. So for example, you're working, you got this job and you're making like $30,000, right? But then you realize that you're also spending $30,000, or maybe you're even spending more than $30,000. And so you find out that you don't have enough money, and after you pay your bills, you just don't have any money left. And so if you ask people what to do, most likely they'll have the solution for you. And this solution is, well, you don't make enough money. So if you're making $30,000 and you're also spending $30,000, then chances are, if you ask anyone what to do, they're gonna tell you the same thing. They're gonna tell you that, well, you need to make more than $30,000. So now you need to make $50,000, $60,000, or maybe even $100,000. And then your problems will go away, which in theory should work. However, I learned this the hard way, and probably you experienced this before, or you're experiencing it right now where you're making more money, but guess what? You still don't have any money left after you pay all your bills. Now, here's something else that you may be experiencing as well. Let's say you actually start making more money. You could actually start saving some money. And so you're saving this money for months and months or weeks and weeks. And then finally, once you get to like a comfortable amount of money saved up, you think to yourself, well, I've been working really hard. I got this new job. I got this extra side gig, and I'm making so much more money, and I've been saving this money for so long. So now I think I deserve to take a break, or I think I deserve to go and spend some of this money that I just saved and to just splurge, right? So maybe you want to go on like a fancy vacation or buy something really nice. And then you also think to yourself that you can increase your bills as well. So now your bills are going up and you start spending the money that you saved. And now before you know it, you're right back where you started, where you're making $50,000 and now you're spending $60,000. So you can make more money, but that doesn't mean that you're going to have extra money left after paying all your bills. And for example, this is why you have people that make a lot of money every single year, like lawyers, for example, or doctors. They can actually make a lot of money, but yet they're still living paycheck to paycheck or in debt, or they're in the same situation where after they pay all their bills, they don't have any money left. And so the main point here is you can definitely make more money, and in theory, it should help fix your problems. But if you don't actually have the knowledge or know what to do with this extra money that you're making, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna probably save this money, and then you're simply just gonna take that money and spend it on things that you want right now. And then sooner or later, you're gonna be back in the same position where you're making more money, you're spending more money, and you still don't have any money left after you've paid all your bills. So in this video, I'm gonna break down what you should be doing if you found yourself in this position where you're making X amount of dollars every single month, you're also spending the same amount of money, or you're spending even more and you just never have enough money after paying all your bills. So with that said, if you like this kind of content, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. I'll really appreciate it. Also subscribe so you never miss the updates of when I post new videos. And if you ever want to talk to me one-on-one, you can message me on Instagram. I'm leaving that link down below in the description. But let's get right into what you should be doing if you find yourself in a situation where you have no money left every month after you pay all your bills. Now, to break this down, there are two types of desires that you're gonna have. So you're gonna have your long-term desires or your long-term goals, and then you're gonna have your right now desires. And the main difference is, for example, your long-term desires are like the age at which you wanna retire. So for example, you may wanna retire at the age of 50 or 55, and then another long-term desire would be like, for instance, you wanna have a 401k with $1 million in it when you retire. And a long-term desire could be, maybe you wanna live in a particular city, or you wanna have this dream home, and you know that's gonna take you like 10 or 20 years to get to that goal. And then you have your right now desires, which is like what type of car you wanna be driving right now, the supermodel girl or guy that you want to be dating right now, the vacations that you want to go on right now or in like the next 6 to 12 months, the luxuries you want to experience, and all that stuff. And then usually you can delay your right now desires, but usually you can't delay them for long. And this is why, for example, if you start saving money and you cut out all the expenses and all the wants that you have right now, you can actually save money for 3 months or 6 months or maybe even a year if you're good at it. But eventually, sooner or later, those right now desires are going to be so high, they're gonna actually take this money that you've saved and you're gonna spend it on stuff that you actually want right now. So no matter how much you save, eventually you're gonna start telling yourself that you deserve this new wallet, you deserve this new purse, you deserve this new bed, this new car, this vacation, or whatever it is. And then that's when you're going to spend that money. And then before you know it, you're gonna be back where you started, where you have to start saving all over again. And so the point here is that you wanna find a balance where you can use money for both your right now desires and also for your long-term desires. So basically, you're earning more money, but now that you're earning more money, you don't wanna neglect your right now desires and put them off completely, because if you do that, then you're gonna have like this frustration building up, and then eventually, sooner or later, you're gonna wanna spend all that money on things that you actually want right now or very soon. So you wanna find that balance where you're able to live comfortably right now, and then you're also putting some of this extra money towards your long-term desires or your long-term goals. Now, ideally, you want to be earning enough money where you can have the perfect balance, and it's like a 60-40, or 60% of your income is going towards your needs and your wants right now, your living expenses every single month, and then 40% of your income is going towards like your long-term goals. But usually that isn't really realistic unless you're making a whole lot of money. So 80-20 may be a bit more realistic, or maybe even 90-10, where you're spending like 90% of your income on your living expenses now and things that you actually want right now, and then 10% you could put that towards your long-term desires. However, that's where it actually gets easy, and there may be people watching this video who are in the negative, meaning that you don't even have 10% off your income left every single month after you spend all that money on your bills. And so I'm gonna give you guys some ideas right now, or some suggestions that you can use. And disclaimer here, this stuff is going to be really extreme for some people. But if you're just not making enough money and you're spending more than what you're actually making, then you need to take some really extreme steps. And with that said, the first thing that you should do is actually get rid of your home internet service. Now, you may have never thought about this before, and you may be saying, well, Eann, I need the internet to live. And you're right. But the thing is this, most of you guys, maybe like 95% of you guys watching right now, don't actually use your home internet for work purposes or to help you earn any money. You just use it for entertainment, use it for like Netflix and social media, and some other stuff that in reality, you can live without that stuff. So instead, you want to cut your home internet, and then what you want to do is you want to use the internet on your phone, because most likely you have a phone plan right now that comes with unlimited data, and this way you can actually use the internet on your phone. And if you ever want to use the internet on, let's say, your computer or something else, then all you got to do is to turn on the mobile hotspot on your phone, and then you have internet on your computer, on your TV, or wherever you want it. So you're not actually living without the internet, it's just that it may not be as fast as it was before. But again, if you have absolutely no money left every single month, then this is the first thing that you should consider doing. Now, the next thing that you should remove is Netflix. And I know you may be saying, well, Eann, you just told me that I should get rid of my home internet service, and now I've got to watch Netflix on my phone. It's a much smaller screen, and I don't want to get rid of Netflix, because Netflix is the only thing that I have in my life where I can get some form of entertainment or can unwind and chill for a while. But here's the thing, right? Before Netflix, people got entertained by reading books, by like going to the park or doing some of that stuff. And I know this may not be ideal for you, but if you're not making any money and you don't have any money left back after you pay all your bills or all your expenses, then the truth is that you're broke. So you can't afford it. So if you're in the negative, then you shouldn't have the internet at home and you shouldn't have Netflix. And instead, you should go back to reading books or taking a walk or doing something that doesn't cost you any money whenever you have free time and you want to either entertain yourself or you just want to chill for a bit. Now, something else that you can do is to actually drive your car less. And for example, I was watching this YouTuber, her name is Piper Princess, and she's like a frugal YouTuber, and she paid off her house because she's really frugal and she literally just took all her money. She paid down her mortgage and she also paid off her 2 cars. And recently she made a video talking about doing like small grocery runs, and the supermarket is literally 2 blocks away across the street, and she can get there in 5 minutes if she walks, or she can ride a bike, so she can get there in like 2 or 3 minutes. So whenever she needs to get something really small or simple like soap or shampoo, then instead of driving her car there and using an entire gallon of fuel, she simply just walks there or she cycles there, and that way she saves a ton of money over a year. Now, here's something else that you may experience, and this is that you're thinking that X amount of money is just not enough to live on where you are right now. And if you look this up on YouTube right now, you'll actually come across a lot of people living in a lot of different places, and the cost of living or their cost of living is really low, and they're able to keep their cost of living really low when compared to the average person living in that same exact city. But if you have no money and you're broke, then sometimes you have to kind of like take an L temporarily and do without some of the stuff that you think you need because you don't actually need the stuff. So for example, you could be living somewhere right now and you're spending, let's say, $2,500 per month for, let's say, a 1-bedroom apartment, and you really like this place because it's fancy, it's got a swimming pool, it's got like 3 swimming pools, you've got a tennis court, a basketball court, you've got like 2 gyms. The place is really nice and you really like it, but you're spending $2,500. If you simply go down the street, you could rent a similar apartment for $1,000 or $1,500. That doesn't have a pool, that doesn't have the tennis court and the basketball court, and that way you can cut your expenses down. And yes, you don't have all the amenities that you had before, but remember, you're broke. So just take an L temporarily because you can't really afford this stuff and you're just telling yourself that you need it, and you can't live on less every single month. Now, once you get yourself to the point where you have like extra money, whether you're working a better job or you're making more money or you're saving more money because you cut down your current expenses, what you want to do is you want to, of course, spend money on things that you want right now and your needs right now, but you also want to take some of this extra money and you want to start putting it towards your long-term desires or your long-term goals. Now, you don't want to be too aggressive with this because you don't want to be hoarding all the extra money and putting it to a long-term desire, and then in a few months after you get frustrated again and then you quit and you start spending all this money. So instead, you want to make this an amount of money where you can comfortably see yourself putting this towards your long-term desires or your long-term goals consistently for a very long time. So for example, this could be as simple as just taking 5% or starting out with 5% of this extra money, or maybe it's 5% of your income every single month, and now you're putting that towards your emergency fund. And then once you have that emergency fund, you're now taking 5 or 10% of your income and you're putting it towards your 401k because maybe your long-term desire is to have $1 million in your 401k. Now, what you actually do with this extra money will depend on what your long-term desires are. So maybe it is to put it towards paying down your mortgage early, or starting a new career, or starting a business. But the point is, you want to take some of this extra money and you want to take a percentage that you can consistently see yourself putting towards your long-term desires every single month. And then you want to use some of this extra money for things that you actually want right now. And that is how you get to strike that balance of not just hoarding all your money and then getting tired of saving all that money and then ending up just spending all the money you saved and then getting back to square one, where you're earning money and you're spending more than you're earning and you don't have enough money, or you don't have any money left after you're paying all your bills. So the main point is this: if you're not making enough money, or you just don't have enough money left back after paying all your bills, then you're gonna have to take a temporary L right now, and you're going to have to give up a lot of things that you have right now that you think you can't live without. And then once you start having some extra money, you wanna start taking a small percentage off this extra money and putting it towards your long-term goals or desires. And then of course, you wanna start earning more money as well, but earning more money alone by itself isn't the solution. And that is why, if you've ever been in a situation before and you've tried to make more money, then that has not helped. And then eventually you found yourself not being able to have any money left after paying your bills. So I hope this video helps you break the cycle if that's what you're experiencing right now. And with that said, remember to be very patient with this, because with everything you do just like this, it takes a lot of time. And all the best, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next one.